and it's about when I was in 8th grade. Then I'm going to do a blog post, and then something that I've written recently. You might not even like it, but we'll see. So this poem is entitled Fight. The thing to do in 8th grade was fight somebody at 3:30 on Lincoln School's playground. So I told Randy Scudder one Friday I'd meet him there to pound him. My gangly friends and his Acne crew circled around us on the 4-square court, and I said, well, I came here to fight. How about you? He hit me so hard, there are days I still feel it, and I just lost interest in the whole thing. I said, well, I believe I'll just go on home now. Randy said, all right. And in civics on Monday, I told him, you really gave me a shot. When Randy said, yeah, and you can really take a punch, it was almost like a win. I'm no longer violent. This next thing is a blog post. I have a blog. It's called What's Not Wrong. I write on there about literacy and book reviews and sometimes baseball and education and teacher life and all kinds of stuff. But I try to keep a very positive spin on it. There's a lot of ways to complain about things. That's fairly easy. But I try to keep the focus on what's not wrong. I'm not sure I was successful in this one, but we'll see. It's entitled The Brave Faces. My heart is with kids who say to themselves, I try, but I still fail, and I don't know why. If someone in my family doesn't get a job soon, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't like to read. I know most of the words, but they don't connect. My teacher has favorites. I'm not one of them. I go to a school with thousands of students and hundreds of grown-ups, but no one talks to me. My parents check my grades every day and always find something to complain about, even when my grades are all good. My friends are bad influences, but I don't know what to do about it. I've never had a boyfriend/girlfriend. Am I normal? I'd like to go to prom, but we can't afford it. My classes don't teach me anything I need to know. I try to be friendly, but people act like I'm not there. If my parent goes to prison, I'm not sure what will happen to my family. I'm angry and I'm afraid I'm going to hurt somebody. I don't have a computer at home, so I can't do certain homework like other kids. My teacher doesn't like me and I don't know why. I'd like to have friends, but I don't know how. I don't understand math the way other kids do. Everybody tells me to take advanced classes, but they're so damn hard that it's ruining my life. I don't see where I fit in school. When my teacher calls on me, I'm afraid to answer in case I'm wrong, so I always say, I don't know. I think I'm depressed, but I don't know what to do about it. My boyfriend hits me. My mom hits me. My dad hits me. I'm going to graduate, but I know I'm not ready for college. There are people in my school who scare me. Those of us who work in schools are surrounded by brave faces suffering in silence. Today's challenge, say, hello, how are you doing? We might get an answer, we might not. Either way, a simple exchange like that can do more than the words convey as we let students know they are not alone and not invisible. We can't solve all the problems, but we can say hello. Ran out of white paper in the printer at home. The writing that I've been doing mostly lately is kind of reflecting on what it has meant to be an English teacher for about 40 years. And I've got about 200 pages. I'm only going to do 150, no, I've got about 2 pages of this I would like to read to you about what I figured out about teaching writing. And I don't know if it's even of interest to students, but we'll see. Underlying most of my work in developing student writers are 3 assumptions. 1, writing is hard work. 2, students write more and better when they care about what they write. And 3, providing appropriate feedback on student writing is a delicate necessity. Writing is hard work. Many students would rather be graded on a multiple choice test than on a short answer or essay test. Am I right? A multiple choice test requires one decision, choosing the right answer. When we ask students to demonstrate their learning through writing, we require them to make more decisions with increased complexity. That is harder work, and many students will resist it simply because it's harder. The hard work of writing must have some kind of intrinsic reward if students are going to be motivated to discover the value of writing. One way of providing that motivation is to help students enjoy writing. Another way is to help them develop their writing skills. When enjoyment meets development, students will think of themselves as writers. I've seen it thousands of times. How can we help students enjoy writing? Be non-judgmental, praise the good, have fun, forget about rules, at least temporarily. Let students play with writing. Provide opportunities to throw words together in new ways. Take off the pressure. Find ways to say, you're doing this right if you're doing it at all. Or, your grade on this is going to be 100% if you're still alive when it's finished. Those light touches give students room to experiment. Sure, they might test you, but testing you requires more energy than simply doing the work. So the testing phase will run out of fuel sooner or later. Students write more and better when they care about what they write. I found the key to motivating students to care about what they write is to infuse the writing process with as much choice as possible. When students choose their own topics and are free to write about that topic with few or no limitations, they're more likely to care about what they write and approach the task with more maturity and dedication. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit on that. Every one of the 1,000+ students who took the stage during Fremd High School's Writers Week cared about what they wrote. They knew a live audience would be listening and their work would be broadcast and archived online. 3, providing appropriate feedback on student writing is a delicate necessity. Let's consider this. What is the purpose of giving students feedback on their writing? The purpose of feedback is not to justify a grade. The only reason to give feedback is to help students become better writers. And students become better writers by acquiring confidence and knowledge. So our feedback should aim toward those ends, confidence and knowledge. To bolster a writer's confidence, we can respond authentically to the content of the writing, and we can give positive comments about what he or she does correctly or well. When students write, they always do far more right than they do wrong. To provide missing knowledge, we can give information about what a student doesn't know or doesn't understand. It probably goes without saying that feedback on student work that simply points out errors doesn't build confidence or provide knowledge. In fact, that kind of feedback undermines confidence and only shows that the teacher has knowledge. Let's not do that. The first time I taught creative writing, I was reluctant to provide qualitative grades on students' artistic experiments. I asked my colleague, Kevin Bruner, one of the best writing teachers I ever know, how he graded students' poems and stories. His answer still serves me well. You know what you said? No. I asked Kevin Bruner, how do you grade students' poems and writers? His answer still serves me well. By weight. In other words, grade how much they write, not how well they accomplish items on a checklist. When students write more, they write better. Sometimes quantity is quality. Thank you very much for listening. And now, here he is, Kevin Bruner.
I'm glad I remember my classes. This is a piece that I actually finished this morning at about 6:30. I was making changes on it the last couple of weeks, and this is the first time I've heard it to speak of. It's entitled Spirals. As a preface here, I'd like to admit that I'm a lover of words. The way words appear on paper, or the cadence of words, sound from my mouth and the mouths of others, and ideas which are often English teachers' stuff when I'm thinking about the use of a or the, or gerunds or present participles. But I must confess, behind the curtain, I'm a science geek. Some people might suspect that. Thinking back, I can't really recall when I became aware of my condition, or deterioration, or destruction, as the case may be. Perhaps that one morning when looking down at the floor drain in my shower, I found myself thinking about how particles of myself, skin follicles and hair, were twisting around to swirl, and pieces of me were subtly being torn from my body and washed to the river and another river and another until reaching the Gulf of Mexico. I'm disappearing, I thought. I connected this to watching a dirt devil spin down the dusty street of a failing central Illinois town, past boarded up deserted stores, and a failed gas station become a cell phone store, become a quick loan, transfer your car title store, the dirt devil spinning through unpaved streets, then detaching from the ground and melting away in the swirls of in the swirls of rising fog like the small lazy clouds from the surface of a pond. Everything, I think, is melting. Fibonacci comes to mind. The swirls of a Fibonacci sequence becoming clearer and clearer in the shapes of a dissected nautilus shell, a sunflower, a pine cone, snails and fingerprints, a spider's web hanging from the underside of my porch, or a tornado rising in its created darkness, the power twisting steel fencing and metal roofs, and if I look closely enough, maybe I discovered Dorothy pedaling on her bike with Toto in a basket, or the massive clouds in a hurricane from photos as seen from space. The hurricane larger than the states of North and South Carolina, and then perhaps the spirals of our solar system from Mercury to Ultima Thule, 4 billion miles from us, but still swirling around the star we call the sun, which is but one normal star in a galaxy spinning and rushing through space, but because we are so small and insignificant, we feel as if we are crawling through time. I am mystified. From the smallest electron spinning around a nucleus to the great wave Akanagawa, completed in the early 1800s, Fibonacci's natural imprint lies upon the universe. I'm being torn apart, I believe. Anakawa's great wave washing over me. But maybe I'm the only one who feels like this or notices. We are all being driven by this sequence, and only sometimes am I aware. I watch as the arm of our solar system spins around inside a twisting galaxy that is drawn to the center, controlled by a black hole we cannot see or feel. And sometime in the future, a black hole will swallow all that we are in the center of our galaxy, which will spin down the drain and will be sucked into a Fibonacci swirl at the end of the universe. And everything will join me in nothing. I turn off the shower and listen to the last drip, drip, drip fall into darkness while I dry myself with a towel made of bamboo. Bamboo is recyclable and easily grown and very sustainable. I can only do what one person can do. And maybe that is enough. Maybe if each one does what he or she can, that will be enough. Maybe. Thank you. I had to change some of the words in here. You probably figure out what those were. But this is a poem I wrote for my wife many years ago. And things really haven't quite changed. But this is entitled Shoes. Under the table, on the stairs, in front of the couch. Shoes! We never did count them. You must have 100 pairs, I said. No way, maybe 15, said she. I think they've been fornicating behind her back in that closet. Come to think of it, Is this like the effing pillows? Ah, those pillows do seem to have proliferated around here, I commented. Yes, a lot of inanimate fornicating goes on in this house, she said. Anyway, just what does go on in that closet at night? Do they stroke soft leather and inanimate arousal? What is the gestation period of a shoe? Are they always born twins? Let's make a bet, said she. We never did count them. Now she's probably got 250. And just in case, I've been married to the same woman for many, many years. We started dating 50 years ago, which is a hell of a long time. But I wrote this last summer for our anniversary. So, girls go on. Yeah, well, your boys should be doing it. You know, try it out, see what happens. It doesn't have to be about shoes, you know. Dreams. Recently, I had a dream. You and I floated in a world of prepositions. Yeah, only an English teacher would have dreams about prepositions. Anyway, in this dream, we traveled with each other through this 50 years together, in each other, circling around each other, under and through each other, hand in hand for this half of a century, from Jim Sain's Trailey Farm and stolen yellow fake flowers from Osco. We met together at Osco. Right? Cars and dogs, different towns and apartments and houses, and of course, our sons, Jared and Jordan. This journey we travel with each other has been full of surprises and challenges. You are such a beautiful, romantic, caring person that I am sorry that a great invisible hole takes place in my brain where my memories should be stored but melt away in a mist. But know this, everything I have and am would disappear in a moment because without you, I am nothing, a lost breath of air. Please remain with me in my preposition world because I need you to survive. Love, Kevin. Thank you. Keep writing, and it's the weight. It's as the weight. And finally, Mr. Tony Romano.
Hey, I forgot to say something really important when I was up here before, and that is some Writers Week history is being made right now. The only two human beings who have been a presenter at every Writers Week, 1 through 25, Mr. Bruner and Mr. Romano. I've done 24 in a row. The first year my appendix decided to go to another planet right before, and so I didn't get to do it. So this is like when he steps up here and starts, these are the only two people who've ever done all 25. That's really something, isn't it? Tony Romano.
I had a broken leg many years ago, and then a couple years ago I had a broken back.
Who signed your cast?
Oh, Gwendolyn Brooks signed my cast, that's right. I kept that thing for many years, and we finally got all ratty, and so we had to get rid of it. Okay. Is that good? I've been fighting a cold, so if my voice cracks like a 7th grader, oh well. How'd we find ourselves in the middle of this thing? how to cast them off, how to get rid of these ghosts. They haunt, they bring out the worst, asking us who to blame most. Past isn't dead, it's not even past, they say. But we'll blunt the scars, crowd out the dark, take simple steps, and not reach for stars, just stay. We live yesterdays, rework our childhood pains. How to surrender wrong so nothing but love remains. We're tired, the time is late, we need the light of day. With coffee, toast, and jam, and the slant of the warm sun's rays. The past isn't dead, it's not even past, they say. But we'll blunt the scars, crowd out the dark, take simple steps, and not reach for stars, just stay. One more day. One more day. Thanks. Any English teachers can identify the famous line by the famous writer in that song? What's that? Faulkner. Very good. Writers Week has about 1,000 different details that need to be taken care of, and the two people who are responsible for those details, they pull their hair out every year. Gina Enck and Russ Anderson. Just an amazing job that they do. I tell you the secret of their coolness. Russ with his backpack, of course, Russ Anderson, that 2-ton backpack. Just one of the kindest, most creative, humble people you ever want to meet. And the secret to Gina Enck's coolness is she is happiest when you succeed. She's always rooting for you, which is why students work so hard for her. Am I right? Is Gina's class here? I like walking around my neighborhood, and as I walk around my neighborhood, I have my phone and I'm recording lyrics. There's something about the rhythm of walking that I think is so important, not only to songwriting, but to any kind of writing. And so as I was walking one day, I was kind of feeling good. I was happy, and then I started feeling guilty for feeling good, because there's so much sorrow in this world, there's so much suffering. And so I went home and I wrote this song. It's called What's Not Wrong, and it's dedicated to Mr. Anderson behind me. My step is light, the sky is clear. I won't apologize for walking on air. The list is long of all that's wrong, but on this day I dial back all of my fears. Walking along, I keep walking along, listening to that sweet bird song all around me. Walking along, I keep walking along, thinking about what's not wrong, and I feel free. Sun climbs the trees, then a gentle breeze fans the leaves, a spectacular show. A lark sings high, arcs through the sky, and swoops on down through time to the river below. Walking along, I keep walking along, listening to that sweet bird song all around me. Walking along, I keep walking along, thinking about what's not wrong, then I feel free. Need to save this light today. What will happen to tomorrow? I will keep this light some way. I stop to rest by the river's bank and think about the ones who came before. My mama, dad, on down the line. One by one for me, they open the door. Walking along, I keep walking along, listening to that sweet bird song all around me. Walking along, I keep walking along, thinking about what's not wrong, then I feel free. I close my eyes as the sun beats down. My heart swells, don't need anything more. Then I turn around and head back home, ready for whatever's in store. Walking along, I keep walking along, listening to that sweet bird song all around me. Walking along, I keep walking along, thinking about what's not wrong, then I feel free. I first started writing songs about a year and a half ago or so, and most of the first songs were just, I didn't care about the lyrics too much. I was so damn thrilled to write a song that whatever rhymed or whatever phrasing worked. And lately I've been writing songs that are a little more meaningful to me. So I put together a little slideshow that I want them to run right now about my old man. Back when I was a kid, the older guys would use the phrase "my old man," and it was I don't know how they heard it, but I always heard it as a very affectionate thing, even though I never used it myself. So this is about my old man.